So here is your first look at a real and a fake pair of Nike Shox TL. Can you spot any differences? Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing a real and a fake pair of Nike Shox TL and pointing out the differences between the two pairs so that hopefully when you're looking to purchase a pair for yourself you can avoid accidentally buying a fake pair with the belief that they are a real pair. So with that said, let's start the video. The first thing that you will notice, keeping the real pair on the left and the fake pair on the right, is that the size of the box is slightly different. So lots of fake Nike shoes come in a box like this, which is slightly smaller than the box of the real pairs. Also, if we take a look at the size labels on the side of the box, you will see that there is a difference in size here as well. So if we start with the real pair at the top here, you will see that the size label is a lot smaller and pushed to the bottom left edge of the box here. Whereas on the fake pair, it's on a slight angle and this label is a lot larger. Also, you will notice that the size label on the real box has this QR code in the bottom right, which isn't present on the fake pair. And the product code here for this colorway, which is the black metallic colorway, is AV3595-002. You'll see that the product code on the fake pair is slightly different, and this product code actually matches up to the women's variation if you look at it online. When we actually open up the shoe boxes, you'll see that on the real pair, all that is present is this tissue paper wrapped around the shoes. Whereas if we take a look at the fake pair inside the box, you'll see that they come with this plastic bag. The plastic bag is something that is present with lots of fake shoes, not just Nike ones. And if you see your pair of Nike Shox TL come in a plastic bag like this inside the box, then assume straight away that the pair is fake. Taking the shoes out of the box now, and the first thing that I can notice is that the shape of the shoe is very different. So keeping the real pair on the left and the fake pair on the right, you'll see that the real shoe is a lot more narrow and a much smoother shape, whereas on the fake pair the shoe is a lot wider and just looks more of a chunky shoe in comparison to the real pair. Looking at this grey piece of material on the toe of the shoe, you'll see that on the real pair this piece of material starts wider at the top towards the end of the toe and gets more narrow as it comes back towards this part of the shoe. So effectively this part here is a lot wider than this part here. If we take a look at the fake one, however, you will see that this piece of material is pretty much the same size the whole way through. So the width around this part of it, or towards the front of the shoe, is more or less the same width as this part of material further back towards the bottom of the laces. Looking at the heel of the shoe, you will see that once again the sizes are very different. So on the real pair they are a lot shorter than they are on the fake pair, and also this piece of material at the top of the heel is a lot wider on the fake pair than it is on the real pair. Lastly, you'll see that there is this grey piece of material on the back of the heel, and it has these lines running around the edge of it ever so slightly on the real pair. Whereas if we take a look at that same piece of material on the fake pair, you'll see that these lines are a lot clearer and a lot bolder. So I'll just put those side by side to give you a better idea. And this is what it should look like on all real pairs. We take a look at the swoosh on the side of the shoe, you'll see that on the real pair, the inner part of the swoosh is black and the outer part of it is also black, but just a slightly different shade which looks grey in the light. If we take a look at the fake pair, however, you will see that the inner part of the swoosh is black and the outer part of the swoosh, where this stitching is going around it, is also the same shade of black. So if I just put those side by side, you will see that on the real one, when put in the light, the outer part of the swoosh looks grey almost. Whereas on the fake one, when put in the light, it is more or less the same colour on the inner part and the outer part of the swoosh. This pattern also carries over to the eyelets on the laces. So if we look at the real pair here, you will see that the eyelets have a black material in the middle and an almost grey looking part of material around the edge of it. So that goes all the way around. Whereas the eyelets on the fake pair are more or less black the whole way around. So you can't see a difference between the grey and the black when put up to the light as you can on the real pair. Also, if we look closely at the bottom eyelet on the laces, you will see that on the real pair, this is only wide enough to get the lace through, so it doesn't poke up at all. It is very flat and rounded. Whereas on the fake pair, you will see that this is a lot bigger and looser, so you could probably get 2 sets of laces through there if I just show you that to the side. whereas on the real pair you could only ever get one pair of laces through the hole, as you can see there. If we look at this piece of material that runs from the back of the shoe towards the back right and the back left of the shoe, you'll see that the point this finishes on the real pair is in line with the center of this piece of rubber here. So yeah, more or less in line with the center, as you can see there. Whereas on the fake pair, this piece of material comes out a lot further and goes past this piece of rubber at the bottom and almost in between this piece and the next piece along. This is the same on the instep of the shoe as well, if I just show you here. So on the real pair, this piece of material finishes here in line with the center of this piece of rubber, whereas on the fake, it goes straight past this piece of rubber and lands somewhere around here. There is a difference in this piece of plastic that just runs underneath that material there as well. So if we look at the real pair, you will see that this piece of plastic on the instep is smooth the whole way down and just runs straight the whole way, just curving down there. If we take a look at that same piece of material on the fake pair, however, you'll see that it runs straight, just curving around there and then curves back on itself towards the end. So if I just show you those side by side, this is what you're looking for on all real pairs, that it just carries on curving round into that part of the shoe there. And if it pulls back at all like it does on this part here, then that's another giveaway that the shoe is fake. Looking at the far end of the toe on the shoes, you will see that on the real pair, this piece of rubber coming from the outsole is a lot smaller than it is on the fake pair. You will also see that on the real pair, there is a piece of stitching that runs in line with the middle of this piece of rubber on towards the top of the shoe. And surrounding this stitching is two pieces of material here, either side, that run from this part of the shoe. And there is also the plastic part just beyond that. If we take a look at the fake pair, however, you will see that this stitching is present, but there is no gap either side of the stitching before this black piece of material meets on either side. So the black piece of material on either side is more or less touching in the middle with just the tiniest gap for the stitching to run in between, which is completely different to the real pair, as I pointed out, where you can see the piece of material either side of the stitching line before this black piece of material meets. Looking at the outsole, I would say towards the back end of the shoe, they are very similar, where you have these 4 pods and the red lines, as well as the part where you have the Shox logo in the window. The only real difference I can see is that on the real pair, you have these additional parts of rubber on top of the outsole, and they have small indents in that run about halfway down, as you can see there. If we look at the fake pair, however, these additional pieces of rubber with the indents in are present, but the indents run almost the whole way down. So I'll just show you that up nearer to the camera. That should give you a better idea. You'll just see that these indents are a lot further into the shoe on the fake pair than they are on the real pair, as you can see here. Looking at the insoles, the differences I can see are that on the real pair, the Nike Shox print is a lot bigger than it is on the fake pair. Also, straight out of the box, this Nike Shox print is a lot more professionally done and a lot clearer, as you can see there, with no cracks at all. Whereas on the fake pair, it's almost cracking already and starting to come apart, which isn't something you would get on a real pair straight out of the box. On the tongue, you will see that the fake pair has a much larger tongue than it should. So you can see that's much wider there. Also, the Nike Shox text itself has a bit of excess paint around the S here, which isn't present on the real pair. And the actual colour of the Nike Shox print and the logo is a lot brighter on the real pair than it is on the fake pair. In addition to this, you'll see that the top eyelet that runs on the tongue here is a lot wider on the real pair and could fit more than the 2 laces through if you needed to just there. Whereas on the fake pair, this eyelet is a lot smaller and can only just about get 1 set of laces through. The top piece of the tongue also has 2 pieces of material on it. So the main part that we've already looked at here, but on the real pair just behind that, you have this shiny material that is stuck underneath it as well, that just runs around the edge of the whole part of that material there. If we look on the fake pair, it has an additional part of material running underneath, but it is just a black grey type material that isn't shiny or reflective and is a different texture to the material on the real pair. If you look towards the back of the shoe, in between these 4 circles here, on the inside there is 3 circles present in the center. So 1 larger circle with 2 circles inside it. And that can be seen from this side of the shoe, from the back of the shoe and from the inner side of the shoe here. On the fake pair, this circle is present in the same location. However, there is only one other circle inside it, so 2 in total. And as mentioned, on the real pair, there should be 3 circles in total, as you can see here. So if the pair you're looking at is any different to that, as the fake pair I'm looking at here are, then assume that the pair is fake. Finally, if we look at the bottom 2 lace eyelets and beyond towards the end of the toe, you'll see that in the gaps there is just this square piece of stitching here that runs in all of those gaps there and stops just before here, so 3 parts in total. That is present on the instep as well, so below the second eyelet, 1 piece there, 1 piece there, and 1 piece there. Whereas on the fake pair, if we look here, so second eyelet and below, you'll see that there is just 1 piece of stitching running the whole way down here and no square pieces of additional stitching around that. And that's not present on the instep or the outer step. I hope this video was useful to you all in helping you spot fake pairs of these shoes. If you could please like and subscribe, then that would help me greatly, as it allows me to grow the channel and to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching.